Hello, and welcome back to Getting Out There, the program about discovering the great outdoors resources in western Pennsylvania and eastern Ohio. My name is Steve, and I'll be your host. Today's adventure will be paddling East Sandy Creek, one of my favorite Class II creeks in western Pennsylvania. It has easy access, a bike trail for helping with the shuttle, and lots of fun waves to help develop beginner and intermediate skills. The creek runs through a largely undeveloped valley and is home to a wide variety of wildlife. The part of the creek that is usually paddled can be broken down into two sections. The upper section, from Van down to Rockland Road, is about 5 3/4 miles long and is mostly clear paddling with some current. There are 3 easy Class II rapids along the way, but if you're just looking for a worry-free float, it's easy to carry around each of them. The lower section is about 4.6 miles long and runs from Rockland Road to the mouth of the creek on the Allegheny River. It has plenty of Class I waves and several spots that can be considered Class II. But one of the nice things about this creek for beginners is that almost all the rapids have a wavy, bouncy section on one side, while the other side is a straightforward section of clear current. So just about anything that looks too intimidating can be easily avoided. East Sandy Creek is a tributary to the Allegheny River and is located near Franklin, Pennsylvania. It is easily accessible from I-80 via Route 8. The best way to know if the creek is running is to check the USGS real-time stream flow gauge for Oil Creek at Rouseville. You'll want to have at least 3.5 feet on the gauge in order to make a run without scraping all the way down. Remember that Oil Creek has a larger watershed than East Sandy, so it will rise slower than East Sandy when there's a heavy rain, and it will drop later as well. So if you're seeing 3.5 feet and the USGS gauge is still rising, then you're pretty much good to go. But if you see 3.5 feet or even 4 feet on a dropping gauge, then it's very likely that there's not enough water, and you'll be scraping rocks for about 2/3 of the run. Access to the creek for the upper run is from a short dead end off of Route 322 at Van. Just after Whippoorwill Road, you'll cross a bridge over the creek. The very next road to the right is where you'll want to turn. Look for the Tar Kiln Road sign. Follow it back to a parking area by the rail trail and put in at the meadow where the road goes closest to the creek. The middle access, which would be the put-in for the whitewater section, is off of Rockland Road. If you follow it south from Route 322, you'll cross over the Sandy Creek Trail in about 2.5 miles. Just after that, pull off to the right into the gravel area and follow the drive down to the parking area next to the trail. You can put in at the pipeline right-of-way just past the parking area, or carry upstream about 1/10 of a mile to put in underneath the first bridge. There are 2 parking places for access at the mouth of the creek. The first is a small gravel parking area beside the trail at what was once the village of East Sandy. It's only a short drive from the put-in, but is a steep and rough 1-lane road that can get very soft and muddy at the bottom in the rainy season. The second access is at Belmar, which means you have to drive back up to Cranberry, down into Franklin to cross the Allegheny, and back up to the parking area on the Belmar Drive dead end. This is a much easier place to drive into, but means you have to carry your boat out across the big Belmar Bridge on the rail trail. It also takes at least 25 minutes to drive to, so dropping off a car for the shuttle will take almost an hour. If you Google Bike and Boat, East Sandy Creek, Pennsylvania, this Google map will come up with everything you need to know about the shuttle. Once you've checked the gauge and decided it looks like there's enough water, you can look from the Rockland Road access to see if you were right. The pipeline right-of-way just past the end of the parking area gives a good view of the creek at one of the shallower sections. At a minimum level for a good trip, you should only see 2 or 3 rocks breaking the surface here. If there's not enough water to cover the rocks there, you'll be dragging a whole lot of other spots on the way down. It's quick and easy to put your boat in the creek at the power line cut, but I like to carry up the trail about 1/10 of a mile to put in under the first trail bridge. It's only a short carry, but adds a couple of fun waves to the run. Just after the bridge, there is a series of waves along the left side of the creek. This is about typical for the creek. Waves on one side and quick, clear current on the other. After passing under the first trail bridge, there is a straight stretch of riffles, with the creek curving to the left ahead. Following the curve is a calm pool with a big painted rock near the right bank. This is the sign that Alien Rapid is just ahead, a nice sized wave caused by a big boulder on the right bank. Cut close to the right side for the most splash, or further left to keep out of the waves. There is a stretch of riffles after Alien until the Maze Mills Road Bridge comes into view ahead. The area ahead is called Deep Hollow Park and has the best rapid of the run. As the river curves to the left, the current picks up. Pick your way through the rocks, with the right side being better. The current then lets up for a short stretch, with Deep Hollow Rapid just ahead. If you want to scout beforehand, stop on the left. The easiest route is to scrape over the rocks at top left and fade towards the center wave at the bottom. If you want to get the maximum splash, enter from the center and run right into the big wave at the bottom. If the water is a little higher than minimum, you can try the one semi-technical move on the run by going down the far right side and going down the narrow slot between the bank and the big boulder. This is a fun rapid with multiple lines, so it might be a good idea to stop and carry back up to the beach to hit it a couple more times. After Deep Hollow Rapid, there are a couple of waves leading up to the next trail bridge. This bridge has a history of catching tree trunks, so take a good look before you pass through. After a stretch of riffles, the creek bends to the right with some nice waves along the left side. Keep left when you see the big boulder on the tiny midstream island to hit the wave at Lunch Rock Rapid. For the hardest line, cut left after the big rock sticking out from the left bank and hit the big pour-over wave before darting back right on the tongue of current coming off the rocks on the left bank. This wave can change a lot with different water levels, from banging over the rock to a deep, wide wave. More riffles and easy waves lead up to the next trail bridge. The section ahead has some riffles and an easy kayak slot against the right bank about halfway to the next trail bridge. After that bridge, the creek curves right and a section of waves comes into the view. Keep an eye out for the pyramid rock at the bottom, as it can catch trees and the current seems to push right into it. More riffles lead to the next trail bridge, with the creek bending to the left just beyond. The waves starting just before the curve are called Larry's Rapid. Some of them are good for surfing at some water levels, and some are just pour-overs on the shallow ledges across the creek. If you find a good wave and want to go back up to hit it again, get out on the left after the big rocks following the curve. From here, the creek is riffles and easy waves for the final quarter mile to the mouth on the Allegheny River. As you see the final bridge ahead, with the big river on the other side, head to the left bank to find a spot to take out. Don't paddle across the river and try to take out there, since there are private properties there where you can't exit the river. Instead, find a clear spot on the left as you approach the last bridge and take out there. Now the last part of the adventure begins. The carry-out. First step is to carry from the river up to the Allegheny River Trail. This can be hard or easy, depending on where you took out. Now follow the trail downstream, under the big huge bridge, and turn left on the connector trail. Ahead are 66 stairs leading up to Sandy Creek Trail. Affectionately known as the cardiac climb, this can be kind of tough for tall boaters as about halfway up you have to duck down to miss the bottom of the bridge beams. At the top you'll either head across the bridge if you're parked at Belmore, or away from the bridge if you're parked at the East Sandy Road dead end. Either way, there's quite a carry ahead. The total for the carry up to East Sandy Road is just a little more than a half mile, while the carry to Belmar is about 2/3 of a mile. Just be glad you're not carrying a canoe. So that's what you need to know to get out there and paddle East Sandy Creek. It's a lot of fun and runs a couple dozen times a year. Keep your eyes on the gauge and maybe I'll see you out there. Remember that whitewater paddling can be dangerous. You need to have the right equipment and know what you're getting into. Well, that's it for this show. I hope you're getting out there and having your own adventures. Goodbye.